Welcome back. Donald Trump is facing backlash again for statements he made while campaigning that have offended another American and worldwide faith community.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
Some speaking out have been clear in their disgust, wondering the same thing he said. But some have left the room saying Trump had the right idea, but the wrong words. Well, joining us today from the Council of Islamic Organizations of Greater Chicago, Azam Nizamuddin is an attorney and adjunct professor of Islamic Studies at Loyola University. Welcome, Azam. Thank you for coming in. It's been a rough month, wouldn't you say, since November 13th with the Paris terror attacks, San Bernardino last week, and then now Donald Trump.
Yeah, it has been. I think it's been a tough several months for the entire country in many ways, but I think this is also sort of a repeat of the 2012 campaign that we saw as well, when various Republican candidates also were making sort of anti-Muslim comments. Herman Cain had mentioned that he would not hire a Muslim for his cabinet positions. So every time, I think, when we have a repeat of this election process, it seems like there is sort of rhetoric that is used to, get some support from their conservative bases. But I think what Donald Trump kind of went overboard, I think, this week, and really said things that are not only offensive, but I think in many ways illegal too.
Do you look at what he's saying, and I heard this today, as him being an entertainer or being a politician? Because some say that that's not how he really is. He's just entertaining, trying to getting people riled up. He definitely is getting the eye of the media. That's all we're talking about.
Right. Well, I think that if you recall that, there's been criticism of entertainers and sometimes actors when they get involved politically. Some people on the right would say, well, you shouldn't be making those statements because you have this, platform. Now you have a leading Republican candidate for the highest office in the land saying racist and offensive things to the public. And let me tell you something. This is not simply politics as usual or something where he's discussing a policy but not really in depth. I came home Tuesday night and my daughter was in bed with my wife.
How old is your daughter?
She's 9 years old,
Okay.
4th grade. And the first thing she said, I said to her, "How are you guys doing?" And she says, "Dad, Donald Trump said he doesn't want Muslims in this country. Does that mean we have to leave?"
Oh.
That's what she said. And I said, no, we're already here. He's talking about other people and so forth. So I kind of explained it away.
But it's hard to explain.
But it's hard because, you're 9 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old. I got 4 kids. So it's hard to explain to them to, on the one hand, minimize it so it doesn't affect them, but on the other hand, to take it seriously enough so you can respond to it.
Yeah. How do you break it down and tell them what's going on, especially when you are of that faith? It's amazing, the things that come out of his mouth. I think a lot of people are saying that, and he says it. He continues to say it. What should be done to that? I mean, freedom of speech. He's allowed to say it.
Sure.
You said some of the things are illegal that he says, but it is freedom of speech. What needs to be done? People in his own party now are saying, no, Paul Ryan, no, he's not for us. And now the latest is that I've been hearing the past week or so is he's thinking about running on another platform. He'll abandon Republicans and become an independent or what have you.
Well, I think it was really encouraging to see the public statements of Paul Ryan. He came out publicly and he didn't mince words. He wasn't trying to justify anything he said. He came out and pretty much condemned those comments. And I think it's important because I've seen a lot of comments from the conservative wing who say, well, he kind of is right. He just said it the wrong way. No, he's not right. Because people coming into this country, they come for a variety of different reasons, mostly for economic, or sometimes they're escaping, persecutions abroad. And to say that we're not going to protect you and welcome you as a result of the plight that you suffered is not only un-American, it's ahistorical. But then to say, on top of that, we're going to do a litmus test of religion. And that's what I mean by it's illegal in the sense that when you target a particular person's faith for entry into a country, it's a violation of all kinds of international treaties and conventions that the U.S. is a signatory to.
Yeah, that's pretty much the platform that America was built on. We're a melting pot of all different faiths, ethnicities, etc. And so he, with a single campaign, is just breaking it all down, just lashing out at it.
The other thing, Micah, is that one of the perpetrators of San Bernardino was an American.
Right.
He was born here. He was
Chicago.
raised here. Went to school here, was fully educated, and was college graduate. So what do you do with people like that? So
Right.
in other words, his statements aren't really addressing the issue. They're not really taking these issues seriously. And I think it's simply meat for his constituency, which is unfortunate because these are very serious issues. These are serious times, and they call for serious resolutions and reflection and analysis, and not to have someone like this simply parading, old stereotypes or new stereotypes and xenophobic attitudes.
Exactly. After the San Bernardino shootings, attorneys for the alleged shooter's family came out and said, they started talking about certain things, but towards the end they just said, this is not an attack on Muslims. This is not an attack on the Islamic faith. We're getting a bad rap. We're getting a bad rap. How do you change the thoughts of people who are just looking at this stuff from San Bernardino? We were on all day talking about it, but it continues to say Muslim. They were Muslim,
Right.
They study Islam. They follow the faith. How do we change that?
Well, I think it's a big challenge for all of us, not just the Muslim community. I think that people outside of our community and faith need to step up, and when they see something wrong or unjust, they need to step up along with us and share the same microphone and condemn these kinds of things. But I think it's also part and parcel of the fact that even today, in 2015, when we see minority groups that are different from the majority narrative, from the majority culture, that we have a double standard. So when a white person of Christian faith goes and shoots up a church that he attended.
He's not a terrorist.
It's not a terrorist.
Yeah.
He's not a Christian. He's
Right.
not part of the white establishment, so that
Exactly.
people have to apologize for him. But when a minority, whether it's African American, sometimes Latino, or a Muslim, does a similar crime, then somehow the entire Muslim community is caught in this web of trying to explain away.
Yeah, we all have responsibility. Azam, thanks so much for joining
Thank you.
us. Appreciate
Appreciate
it. For more details on the Council of Islamic Organizations of Greater Chicago, visit ciogc.org. Stay with us.